Welcome back to World Crisis Radio. Webster Tarpley here in Washington, D.C. Remember, keep up with Tarpley.net. Keep up with my Twitter feed, Webster G. Tarpley at Twitter. And we're now looking at the rebirth of class struggle in the United States, really after 42 years. I think the General Electric strike of 1969 was the last significant labor action that had any chance of getting anywhere. So this morning, Nick Milroy, member of the Wisconsin State Assembly, was trying to enter the state capitol, to which he is a fully elected and accredited a member. He's supposed to be able to get in there whenever he wants. And the state troopers, undoubtedly instructed by Scott Walker, the fascist governor of Wisconsin, decided that they were going to tackle him around the neck and then throw him to the ground. I hope that picture goes around the world. You can see a YouTube version of that on the Internet. You have to do a little bit of looking. I'm amazed that MSNBC doesn't have it more prominent. Oh, my God, is Immelt getting scared? Is Immelt getting scared by the rebirth of class struggle? Is he afraid of a strike at his General Electric plants? Well, there it is. Gestapo tactics here in the United States, right? The great exporter of democracy, the great professor and pontificator about democracy to faraway Egypt and Libya and Tunisia. Let's bring democracy to those countries so they can smash unions and have members of their parliament tackled and beat up by the cops under orders of the reactionary, authoritarian dictator governor. And now we're looking overseas. We see that the labor movement is not completely passive elsewhere. The Italian Trade Union Federation, CGIL, has called a general strike in Italy for the 6th of May. Hey, a general strike for the 6th of May. This is only a one-day general strike, and the demands for this may not be the greatest. They may be actually euchred into thinking that Berlusconi is their enemy. He is not. But I'm wondering now, I'm looking at Rich Trumka over at the AFL-CIO. And Rich Trumka, you have been watching these labor struggles now in Wisconsin, in Indiana, in Ohio. We just had a demonstration of the police in Trenton, New Jersey. We had something that looked like Tahrir Square on the best day over there. We had that many cops in Trenton, New Jersey. And I'm wondering, Rich Trumka, when are you going to call for a general strike? Start with a one-day general strike. You could even start with a half-day general strike, Rich, if it's too much for you. But Trumka, the AFL-CIO, time to put pressure on Rich Trumka. You've got to fight back. You can't just sit there and do nothing. You have got to counterattack these clowns, these Gestapo characters, because they are now attempting to destroy trade unionism in Wisconsin and in Ohio. And, of course, the Garden State Goering, Governor Christie, has been doing this for quite a while. He's actually now been passed on the right by Walker and to some extent by Kasich. And I'm sure there are some other monsters. There's that guy, Scott, down in Florida, who is undoubtedly preparing new actions. The AFL-CIO has got to do something. The general strike is the necessary answer. And, of course, we looked into Walker's past. He wants to eject the demonstrators from the state capitol. He wants arrest warrants against the senators who won't vote to provide a quorum for his bill. And then he's got this violence at the state capitol. This guy is a torpedo paid by the Koch brothers. That's Walker. His name is going to go down in history with Benedict Arnold and Jefferson Davis and other subversives in the history of this country. We are interested not in pensions for state workers, modest sums for hardworking Americans. We want to hear about Wall Street bonuses. We want to hear about the $150 billion that was given out in Wall Street bonuses, mainly by companies that were bankrupt but saved by Uncle Sam with $4 trillion of 0% federal credit, about $700 or $800 billion from the Treasury and about $3.4 trillion from the Federal Reserve, which has not been paid back. Not paid back. 150 billion, I think the exact sum is 148 billion in Wall Street bonuses. That's not even salaries, that's bonuses on top of the normal salary. Isn't that a much bigger pie? Shouldn't we be carving that rather than applying the scalpel to flay alive the hardworking cops, firemen, government workers, teachers, many cases health workers, state health programs, and so forth? Haven't we lost all sense of proportion? Isn't this class warfare by the Republicans gone absolutely wild? The reactionary essence of the Tea Party now exposed. It's a group of strikebreakers. It's a bunch of gluttons for privilege who can't get enough loot on their own, and they want to strip it out from the lives of others. This is all Weimarization, right? That the people with privilege are anxious to use their residual influence to make sure that they keep it. Now, Walker is threatening essentially a lockout. He says he's going to start firing workers at 1,000 to 2,000 a day. We've just had a bunch of teachers fired in Rhode Island. The first time we had firings up in New England, Obama spoke out in favor of firing the teachers. You can find some interesting analysis on the internet that the teachers in particular have now been vilified by Obama. They've been vilified by Bill Gates. They've been vilified by Arne Duncan, the Secretary of Education. They've been vilified by Michelle Rhee, the union buster here in Washington, D.C., by her colleagues in New York City and in Chicago and elsewhere, all union busters, all paid by the Gates Foundation, the Broad Foundation, and other rich elitist, social engineering, meddling, anti-working class institutions. The teachers have had enough. They may turn into the most militant, cutting edge of this entire strike. So let's talk to these people. What do you guys need? What I can give you right here and right now is a program. Remember, it is not enough to say, don't crucify me. That is not enough. It's true. It's fine. It's morally correct, but it's politically not enough. You've got to have that kind of programmatic platform that allows you to appeal to other groups in the population, to go beyond just state workers into the private sector, people who are in unions, people who are not in unions, people who are unemployed. That is absolutely critical, including illegal aliens, including undocumented foreign workers, because if you don't organize them on your side, they will be there as scabs against you, organized by the Koch brothers and related forces, as we've seen. And remember, the retired people are now about 15-20% of the country. There are students. You've got to have something to offer to every one of those groups, and I'll tell you how to do it once again in just a minute here on World Crisis Radio.